Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jacob Beck and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, and lots to cover over the next couple of hours. Koki Riley generally with us at 1:15. We bumped things back 45 minutes today, so we'll talk to Koki about LSU baseball at 2 o'clock. I've got some thoughts on LSU football's freshman class, but not the ones that we've seen to this point. We'll do that in 15 minutes. It's a What If Wednesday. Still very much looking for your interaction on What If Wednesday. So hit us up at Hunt Palmer 88 on Twitter, or certainly in the Bayou Ford chat if you're there. Hit us with some what ifs. We'll get to those at the bottom of the hour. SEC Baseball Power Rankings coming up in hour number 2 as well. So lots and lots and lots to do. We'll start things off the way we start every single day with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
Well, if you've been listening, you're aware that I've got some concerns about the way LSU has played offensively over the last month on the diamond. And I wanted to go in and start looking at stats. I've watched all the pitches. I've seen it with my eyes. Sometimes your eyes say one thing and the numbers say another. Sometimes the numbers reveal exactly what you think you've been looking at. Sometimes there's something a little bit deeper. I tell you all this all the time, that when I dive in, I usually have an idea of what I'm looking for. And sometimes it's validated. Sometimes it's wrong. And that's, I think, the interesting thing about digging into numbers. Those of you that are looking at LouisianaSports.net here and there, I've got a piece up called Statistically Speaking, What's Up with LSU's Offense on the front page of the site right now, and it may be easier to digest reading it, but I'm going to go through it verbally here in radio form and just kind of talk through some things, some of which I did not realize watching this team offensively. I knew it wasn't quite what we need it to be, but there are some other issues that arose in looking at this that were a little bit jarring. One, LSU offensively is pretty damn good at home. LSU offensively on the road, not real good in league play. And so keep in mind that every statistic that I give you from here on out in this segment, all of them are SEC-only stats. We've got a large enough sample size in 24 games that we can use that. I don't need Purdue-Fort Wayne stats. I don't need Omaha stats. I don't need Southeastern Louisiana stats. I don't need any of that. This is all in 24 games against league play. Here's some stuff that I found. LSU on the road is averaging 3.9 runs per game. They're scoring 4 a game on the road. That's not good enough. At home, they're scoring 8 per game. Basically doubling up. In 12 SEC road games, 12 games, I realize numbers are tough on the radio. I'm trying to break this as easily as I can. 12 road games. You've scored 4 or fewer 9 times. 2/3 of the time, you're scoring 4 or fewer. Well, how many times on the road are you kind of busting out? How many times do you score 7 runs on the road in 12 games? 3. 1/3 of the time, you're scoring 7 or more. Now, you flip that when they play at home. LSU is scoring 7 runs a lot at home. 9 of 12 games, they've scored 7 runs or more. Most of the time, you're hitting at home. 4 or fewer runs at home, that's happened 4 times. So, it's interesting because there are more variables than just the ballpark, right? It can't be just the ballpark. There are different pitching staffs, right-handers, left-handers. There are different wind conditions. But there's a reasonable sample size here against what I would call similar competition. Like, yes, I would suggest LSU's road series, Texas, Oklahoma, Auburn, and A&M, those teams are probably on the whole a little bit better than Missouri, Mississippi State, Alabama, and Tennessee, who LSU has played at home. But it's not that big a difference. Like, Tennessee leads the SEC in ERA. Alabama's got Riley Quick in that rotation, who's going to probably be a second-round pick. Mississippi State's got talented arms on that staff. Missouri's bad. I'm not pretending anything. It's not like LSU did what Arkansas did to Missouri and was scoring 18 a game on Missouri. So they haven't skewed the stats that big. It's weird. But here's some more. In 12 games at home in SEC play, LSU's got 23 home runs. That's almost 2 home runs per game at home. When they go on the road, 8 home runs in 12 games. That's not even 1 home run per game. They're just hitting a lot better at the box. Texas is a tough place to hit. They went to Oklahoma, which it was freezing cold. I get it. But, like, Auburn's a fine park to hit in. LSU hit 1 home run at Auburn. A&M's staff has given up some home runs. Ryan Prager's been plagued by the home run ball. And LSU hit 2 over the weekend in College Station. I don't have a great reason for this. I'm just laying out some statistics that are what they are. Now, there are some individual issues that aren't on the whole that I've talked about a little bit. Stephen Milam is really scuffling. He's hitting 205 in SEC play. I just feel like he's going to hit better than that. Just my opinion. I think he's going to hit better than that in the last however many games are left. 12, 15, 18 games left. I think he'll hit better than 205. Just my feeling. May not. Jared Jones has an amazing statistic here. I cannot put this into context. I don't know what this means. Jared Jones in 12 SEC road games has got 18 strikeouts and no walks. No walks on the road. At home, 17 strikeouts, comparable, 8 walks. I have no context for that. But he's drawing walks at home. He's not walking on the road. That was one of the things that really became a strength of his game last season as a sophomore. He took a lot more walks. The strikeout rate has not really appreciably changed. I would suggest it's changed based on how teams are pitching him. He's not striking out on the breaking ball down very much. He's striking out on the high fastball a ton. That's an adjustment he's going to have to make. But Milam and Jones haven't quite been what you thought they would be. Jones's power production's a little bit down from last year. Jake Brown's searching for it a little bit. He hit the big 3-run home run against Tennessee, but he's won for his last 15 league at-bats. If you go back over the last month, 4 SEC weekends, he's 7 for 30. That's 233. And these are guys that came back. If you had told me through 24 SEC games, 24 league games, that you would have gotten this from the newcomers. Chris Stanfield, league games, 333 batting average, 13 doubles in 24 league games. Both of those lead the team. I've been like, well, that's awesome. Derek Curiel, 313 batting average in SEC games. He has reached base in 21 of 24 SEC games. That's great. Freshman, swinging the bat. Daniel Dickinson, y'all heard me constantly in January and February going, I'm just going to want to see the statistics translate from Utah Valley to the SEC because he went to the Cape and didn't hit well. He didn't hit great in this fall. Like, I don't know if he's going to adjust. In SEC play, he's hitting 294. His on-base percentage is 450. He's almost getting on base half the time. That's great. Luis Hernandez hitting 274, but his OPS, on-base plus slugging, is 910. It's knocking on the door of 1,000. That's perfectly acceptable for a newcomer at catcher. Stanfield, Curiel, Dickinson, Hernandez, that's all pretty good. It's the guys that have come back. Jones a tick down. Milam way down. Jake Brown not performing at an elite level. And then you got Michael Braswell, who his batting average in league games is down 50 points from last year. These are the guys that were supposed to be the steady group that you could count on. And just to this point, it hasn't quite been what we thought it would be for them. So you can take that one of two ways. The first way is, well, we've got a pretty big sample size here. They've played 50 games. They played 24 league games. Like, expecting it to be vastly different is probably foolish. You can look at it that way. You can also say, it's not the question marks that you're asking for a resurgence. Like if I flipped Dickinson and Milam was hitting 294 in league play with a 450 on base, you'd go, okay, that's pretty normal. And if I told you Dickinson was hitting 205, you'd go, well, it didn't translate. He hit against Utah Valley. He crushed teams in whatever they're in, the WAC, I think. Well, he can't do it in the SEC. But Milam hit the SEC last year. He was LSU's best hitter in Hoover last year. He was a really good hitter in the regional last year. It just hasn't been a great 24 games for him. So maybe those guys step it up. I see this LSU offense as one that does go dark at times. You scored in 5 of your 27 innings at Auburn. 5 out of 27. You scored in 3 of the first 18 innings against Tennessee. At Texas A&M, you played 27 innings. You scored in 4 of them. Like, those are sample sizes that are large, and those type of weekends are the ones that end seasons. When you can't string anything together. My favorite example of that is a team that I believe was 56-4 when they got to Omaha. Oregon State, 2017. 56-4. They didn't hit Alex Lang one day, and they could not hit Eric Gilbert and Zach Hess the next day. Caleb Gilbert. Where did Eric Gilbert, tight end? I was like, that's not the right name. Caleb Gilbert. They couldn't hit him. 2 days, 2 guys, couldn't hit him. They went home. 56-4. Sometimes it happens in the postseason, and LSU has had a tendency to get into these lulls. They've got to shake out of it. The good news is, and I talked about this on Monday, that there is potential in this lineup. There are some guys that are doing some encouraging things. There are some guys that haven't performed to their track record, and the pitching staff is there to help. The pitching staff can beat Kyson Witherspoon 2-0. The pitching staff can go out there on a game 2 in that doubleheader on Saturday and have Anthony Ianson go beat Justin Lampkin and that Texas A&M pitching staff 2-1. Like, they can do that every once in a while. You can't lean on it for 6 postseason games in a row, but they can do that. They can help you sometimes, but you're going to have to get it in gear at some point. Weather's warming up. Ball should fly a little bit more. And what do we talk about right at the top of this segment? They're hitting at home. They're not hitting on the road. If you can win 2 games this weekend at home and then go handle yourself in Columbia, South Carolina against a terrible baseball team, then you can play your postseason games at home. That seems like it's going to be important. I can't give you a reason why LSU hits better at home on the road. I don't have that for you. But I see that they do, so let's play the games at home. That's kind of my takeaway from all this. If you'd like to read a little bit more about it, you can go check it out over at LouisianaSports.net. The last little piece to this puzzle that I have is this magic number of 6 runs. I've got to find there's the number. When they score 6 or more, when LSU scores 6 runs, they are 31-1. 6 runs is not like an absorbent amount in college baseball. When they score 6, they're 31-1. When they score 5 or less, they're 7-10. 6 is kind of in that cutoff. That's not that much to ask. That's how good your pitching staff can be. They've got to get it in gear offensively one way or another. Arkansas is a tough team to do it against, but it'll be at home, and they'll crank things up coming up on Friday. That's our Genesis opening drive here on this Wednesday. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Not a great pool day today, right? But those days are plentiful here in South Louisiana. It's hot for a lot of our year. If you'd like to get in that pool of your dreams at your home, Renaissance Homes and Pools. Check them out, builtbyrenaissance.com. You can customize these pools to your exact specifications, and the entire time that you're in that process, Joey Blanchard is going to be right there by your side. Who's Joey Blanchard? He owns the company. It's a guy that's pretty invested in customer satisfaction. The service you're going to get from Renaissance Homes and Pools is going to be first class because Joey's going to be there every step of the way. When you get the iPad out and you're going through the software to design it, Joey will be there. When the digging starts, Joey will be there. When they start to put in the foundation of that pool and put the finishing touches, Joey will be there. You'll know. You won't have to search for an executive or somebody up the food chain to talk to. Joey will be right there, right here in Baton Rouge. He's done it for dozens and dozens and dozens of families around the area. He can help you with it as well. Renaissance Homes and Pools. Joey Blanchard, builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. They bring you our Wednesday shows. We'll come back, talk some football next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com. Safety, very, very important when you're getting a new vehicle. If you're in the market, you're looking for something safe, you can be promised that Genesis is going to be able to help you out with that. They don't cut any corners when it comes to safety. Every single vehicle, from the entry level to the highest end Genesis, starts with the same safety features. They've all gotten IHA safety picks, top safety picks. Some top safety picks plus. You trying to be in one of the safest cars on the road, no matter what your family size is, what your situation is, or what you're looking for, whether it's a sedan or SUV, Genesis can help you with that. You got to go see my friends at Genesis of Baton Rouge to make that happen. They're very convenient right there on Airline at Pico across from Women's Hospital, or you can start your buying process today at genesisofbatonrouge.com. Every car that is online is on the lot. Every car that's on the lot is online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. It's genesisofbatonrouge.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Hanging out on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Koki Riley in about 40 minutes talking LSU baseball. Koki on the beat for The Advocate, does a great job covering them. And no baseball last night, thankfully. That was the weather was terrible last night from like 8 p.m. to I got up this morning. It was awful. Myers man, 3 years old, not a huge fan of the Thunder and Lightning, so that's a bit of an issue. But he got to sleep. Didn't play any baseball.
I was going to say, is it mainly because he can't play baseball? Is that why he doesn't like
It's part of the issue. It's not good. He does not like when it's raining. I pick him up from school. He says, Dad, is it wet outside? And, yeah, it's wet outside, so we can't play baseball. Probably not. That's not great. We also have a bit of an issue here. He's got this plastic bat and the plastic ball. So like the contact creates this it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And we got the yard's only so big. So we need to probably tweak the equipment. I don't know that his bat speed's a problem as far as the carrying of the ball, but we probably need to change equipment because we have constantly have to jump fences to get these balls.
Yeah, he's just obviously got too much power for that yard, huh?
I'm thinking the bat's juiced. The balls and bats are juiced. This is a steroid type situation, cork bat type situation, not necessarily a prodigy type situation, but that's on Dad to fix, certainly not Myers. So we'll continue to look into that. All right, let's talk some football. A lot of things are different today than they were 10 years ago, right? Like you've got the transfer portal, you've got NIL, and with that comes change in philosophies and change in the makeup of teams. One thing that became very, very evident a little bit later in the Les Miles tenure is that he was like, man, I've got all these 4 and 5 star guys that we're getting, and a lot of them are going to the NFL after 3 years. I'm not going to waste their freshman year shoving them on the bench. And you saw this emergence of a lot of freshmen getting to the field in the middle to late portion of the Les Miles era. And not every school can do that because a lot of schools can't recruit guys that are college ready, but at LSU, you can. And so now you look up and we're in 2025 and you don't have big impacts from freshmen because you don't fill gaps in your roster with freshmen anymore. You fill them with 22-year-old fifth-year seniors who started for 3 years out of the transfer portal. And so it got me thinking, what freshmen can you expect to see play and contribute significantly to this LSU 2025 team? And how much correlation is there between early enrollees and guys that show up in the summer? And so you can't go back 10 years and then start charting it because the circumstances weren't the same. So I just went back 1 year. I went back, okay, let's just go back to this time last year and enter into the fall and what freshmen helped. Caden Durham certainly helped. Caden Durham showed up and was your best back when he was healthy. And he was not an early enrollee. Trades Green did contribute. Mason Taylor was the guy, but Trades Green did contribute. Now, you had a defection at the position right before fall camp, right in the first week of fall camp, I should say. But when Mac Markway left, but he did contribute, and he was not an early enrollee. But the other guys that played did enroll early. Ahmad Bro was an early enrollee. He made 17 tackles for you. PJ Woodland was an early enrollee. He played a little bit at corner for you. Deshaun Spears was an early enrollee. He played more early in the season, and then the older guys kind of took over late. Don McKinley was an early enrollee. Devon Keys was an early enrollee. He had 31 tackles in 12 games. So you're talking about 5 of the key 7 guys that contribute from that freshman class were early enrollees. The 2 that weren't were Caden Durham at a spot at running back that I think even Jacob Hester would tell you is one of the easier positions to assimilate to, and there's some natural gifts that you've got to have to be able to play. Trust me, I'm not even in any little bit trying to step on Jake's toes there. I am piggybacking on him. He just says, some guys know how to run the ball and how to see things and how to set up blocks and how to get through holes, and some guys don't. And, you either have it or you don't coach that when they get to college. And Caden Durham has that. And he got comfortable in the system, and he was making guys miss and breaking off big runs, and, he made it work. And then Trades Green is as gifted an athlete as there is on LSU's team. And, he didn't play a massive amount, but just his presence on the field at 6'7", 235, whatever he is, and his jumping and leaping ability, you can't teach that either. So most of the guys that contributed were early enrollees. And I was looking around the practice facility during spring football, and I'm looking at Harlan Berry, who enrolled early, and I'm looking at DJ Pickett, who enrolled early, and I'm looking at Solomon Thomas and Carius Kern, who enrolled early, and I could envision all 4 of those guys helping LSU in the fall in various ways. Harlan Berry is too explosive not to have a package installed for him that he understands that he can help you with. No question in my mind. DJ Pickett is going to play. Like, I don't know if he starts on the first snap against Clemson. Maybe you feel more comfortable with veterans out there. You put Stamps out there. You put Delane out there. You put TaMarcus Cooley out there, and those are your first, like, 3 corners with Jakeem Jackson kind of ready to go. But, like, by the time Halloween rolls around, Pickett's going to be out there. I keep seeing in my head when we asked Mansour Delane about DJ Pickett in interviews after practice one day, and it was less what he said and more the look on his face when someone asked, I don't remember who it was, asked about Pickett, and he kind of, his eyes got real big, and he's like, that guy. And so, like, you can see that's going to happen at some point. Solomon Thomas and Karius Kern, I don't think are immediately going to get in there, but, like, they took some reps in the spring. So those 4, to me, I think make some sense as potential impact guys. Barry and Pickett almost certainly, Kern and Thomas probably on the back burner, but potentially. Then I look at the guys who have not gotten here yet. And it's a fairly short list. Like, most guys are enrolling early at this point. You're talking about Jaden Breaker, linebacker from Georgia, JT Lindsey, the running back from Ash up in Alexandria, Aiden Anding, number 1 corner in the state from Ruston, Jacob Bradford, the safety from right down the street at Catholic, Jace Thomas at Destrehan, Philip Wright, his teammate at Destrehan, who's a wide receiver, Zach Weeks, the third Weeks brother, who's a linebacker from Georgia, obviously, Keelan Moses from U-High, CJ Jim Coyley's another linebacker, Brandon Brown and Walter Mathis are defensive linemen. Like, that's the whole list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys that did not enroll early. And I build this up as a segment to kind of throw the punch of, like, I don't know if any of these guys are going to help. Like, I think that's the reality of bringing in a huge portal class that LSU has brought in and has gotten into spring ball to bring back the players that you have. Like, I think some of these guys are really talented. I think JT Lindsey's really talented. I don't think he's going to play over Caden Durham or Harlem Berry at this point, and I think Caleb Jackson's kind of got his role as well, and we'll see what happens to Trey Holly, but I don't see a huge role for JT Lindsey. Aiden Andy was a really highly thought-of prospect, but he's 5'11", 160 pounds, according to the folks over at On3, and, like, he's probably, like, 6th or 7th on the cornerback depth chart. Like, I don't think that's going to be a big impact. LSU's looking for safety help as far as starters go, but their depth is in big numbers. You just added Halsey. You've got Jordan Gilbert, Deshaun Spears. TaMarcus Cooley can go back there and play. Mansour Delane can go back there and play. You've got Joel Rogers. Like, you've got a lot of safeties. I don't think Jace Thomas is going to go back there and play. Philip Wright, I don't think, breaks in at wide receiver. I don't think that LSU needs Zach Weeks to rush to the field as an early enroll, as a guy that's reclassified. I don't think Keelan Moses or CJ Jim Coyley is ready to play. I mean, Jim Coyley's 6'3", 210. That's not necessarily prototypical linebacker size at this point. And then a defensive front with Brown and Mathis, like, they've got a lot of older guys at defensive line. So, like, there was a time in Les Miles' time where you would look at that freshman class, maybe 1 or 2 enrolled early, but there were probably like 5 or 6 guys that you could definitely point to that were going to show up in the summer and that were going to help by Halloween. And I look at the guys who are going to show up in the summer and I go, I don't think any of them are a big factor on the 2025 team. I could be wrong. Jace Thomas is a heck of an athlete. Maybe JT Lindsey breaks through like Caden Durham did. He wasn't an early enrollee. Injuries have a way of shaking things out and changing the way that folks do things. But I think that the guys that are going to enroll in the summer, 11 of them, I think they're going to take their time. I think they're developmental pieces. They're on the scout team. And their time to play significant minutes is probably starting in 2026. And that's okay. And some of them won't be here in 2026, and that's okay too. But what you do is you go into the transfer portal and you bring in a whole host of guys that you think are probably going to start, and that makes getting to the field as a freshman very, very, very difficult. It makes what Caden Durham did last year all that much more impressive. It means that guys like Emory Jones and Will Campbell that are highly thought of recruits may not be able to just immediately push to the field. Those guys did, but it's hard. So I say all that to go, I think you're going to be a very, very veteran team this year that's not counting on a ton of freshmen. I mentioned Barry, Pickett, Thomas, and Kern are the guys that are here. Maybe, maybe not. It's going to be an old team, and that's generally a pretty good sign for a football team. We'll see. All Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll step aside. When we come back, it's What If Wednesday. Get them in the Bayou Ford chat on YouTube. It's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Closet space may not seem like a big deal to you, but as you accumulate more things, it can be pretty significant. I brought in a whole new human to my house in my wife, who was my fiance at the time, and when she got to look at what we were looking at, the closet situation was not going to be satisfactory. Now, I could have called David Duvall. I would have called David Duvall in One Bath and Closets, but we knew once the first kiddo came that we were moving. So we did, and we addressed the closet situation with a move. You don't have to move and change your interest rates and your address and your neighborhood and uproot your whole life to get a custom closet. Just have David Duvall and his team come in and customize one to your exact specifications. It starts with a free consultation, and that process is going to be painless with David Duvall and One Bath and Closets. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. You can start that process at onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wild.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
About half that work week in the rearview mirror. It's a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking to put that pool of your dreams into your backyard. Not too late in 2025 to get that process started. It can only take a couple of months from start to finish. If you call Renaissance pools today, or check them out at builtbyrenaissance.com. So I got plenty to do here on this Wednesday. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Koki Riley in the second hour. My SEC baseball power rankings coming up in the second hour as well. There's some shakeup in the SEC baseball power rankings this week. Just to be frank, there were some things that happened over the weekend, some gut feelings that I've had that I just couldn't quite deliver on over the last couple of weeks. We are going to get that taken care of just about an hour from right now. But right now, it's time to crush the children's dreams all around Baton Rouge with our edition of What If Wednesdays.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
All right, first one. What if the Tooth Fairy... Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go there. All right, first one.
Some old inside jokes from the Hunt Palmer Show.
What if Missouri's baseball team competed in the SEC softball tournament today? No practice.
Oh, man. They would hit a lot, I think. The question is there anybody on that team that knows how to pitch a softball?
I don't think so.
Because that's a weird thing to do, and those girls can throw it really hard. And if you're like lobbing them in there, like you're going to give up a bunch of homers. So I think I would take the over in their games. I also think that they would get real offensive. I think they would win, but maybe I'm crazy because maybe they don't have anybody that can pitch.
How are they going to pitch? Because
if you've got, maybe there are a couple guys on the team who had older sisters who played softball.
Okay.
They did a little bit of this growing up.
But they would have. They probably didn't practice pitching like softball though.
I mean, you could theoretically.
Maybe, but
don't you agree that they would hit a bajillion?
Well, yeah, the ball's bigger and they're using, they're still using aluminum bats, so they would hit pretty well. But at the same time, it's gonna take some adjusting. I think to hitting. I think it's gonna take some adjustments to the speed and all that stuff. I
think they're going to be just fine hitting. I think a lot of high school players would struggle to go up and hit these really good college girl pitchers in softball. SEC baseball players that are looking at 97 with the baseball all the time, they're going to hammer, because softballs don't break that much either. They're going to hammer this pitching. But I don't know how they can pitch.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to pitch. That would be a very interesting experiment.
I don't know. I mean, they may just hit so many home runs in a row that the game just end. But shout out to Missouri's baseball team for being so bad that we have to come up with this for What If Wednesday. That's some impressive stuff.
All right, next one here from Mark on Twitter. What if LSU dominates Clemson and they make a deep run in the playoffs, but don't win the championship? Would that be enough to change the narrative around Brian Kelly?
Yes, it would. I've rarely seen an LSU season end in disappointment, as far as losing and not winning a championship that was roundly okay, that's okay. There was not a lot in 2017 when LSU got to the championship series and lost. There were not a lot of LSU fans who were like, that's a failure. Maneris needs to go. He can't win in the postseason. Everybody was like, that was a good go. And I think if LSU goes 11, if they dominate Clemson, go 11-1, 10-2, and win 2 playoff games and lose in the semis to Ohio State or to somebody that's really good, Ohio State, let's just say for the sake of it, I don't think anybody here is going to be this program's toast. I think that because the format is different, I just think that everyone would be generally okay with that. I think in football, if you get to the Final Four around here, nobody's really going to complain that much. In baseball, you get to Omaha and win 2 games. I don't think anybody's going to think you're some sort of failure. The bar in men's basketball is a little bit different. Sweet 16 around here in men's basketball, everybody's going to think is a great year. I think for most, if you win a tournament game around here, depending on the team, everybody would be okay. But for LSU football, as high as the expectations are, as much as everybody expects LSU to do great things and to compete to win national championships in football, you dominate Clemson on the road, you go 10-2 with that schedule, make the playoff, win 2 games, and get beat by Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl or something. I don't think people are going to riot in the streets. I think everybody will be pretty comfortable with where things are. Now, you're going to lose your quarterback and all that, and that's a different discussion for a different day, but I think everybody would be okay with that.
All right, I got some from the chat here. First one, this is from Brian Burgess. What if you had a time machine? Would you travel? This is hard to believe that you've never done this one before, but if you had a time machine, would you travel into the past or future, and how far would you go?
I think I'm very different from a lot of people on this, and I'm going with gut instinct on just the first time hearing this. I think I'm more curious about the past and what happened, like actual nonfiction, as opposed to going into the future and wondering what is going to happen. Like, I'm more fascinated by history and things that happened than I am by like what is going to happen 50 years from now. Maybe because I don't plan on being here 50, 55 years from now. And I'll experience that one way or another. I have no way of experiencing what the past was. So to me, I think I'd rather go back. How far would I go back? Not too far. I'm certainly not going back to like the 1800s where we don't have air conditioning and stuff. I don't really want to see any of that. That may sound ridiculous to some people, but I'd like to go back and see things in the 70s and 80s when things were a little simpler and you didn't have your phone stapled to your face all the time. And I think there'd be. I'm curious about some of that. Now there are a lot of people that lived through that can tell me, but I would go backwards 40 years probably and check that out for a little bit.
All right, we got some more in the chat here. What if the baseball draft was just like the NFL draft, where you had to be 21 or 3 years of college? How much better would the SEC be?
So you can't go out of high school.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
It'd be better a lot. I mean, unless you'd have Connor Griffin playing for him, and he's just hitting 480-foot home runs and with wooden bats in professional baseball right now. And there are some high school guys that are really, really talented that don't end up on campus. So yeah, it would be better. It's not significantly different after that because guys have to be 21 anyway. Now some of those guys are 21 as sophomores, like Cade Anderson will be this year. So it would be different because you'd have some of those top 15, top 20 picks. But they're really the biggest decline has been like the 5th, 6th, 7th round picks that go to the draft. Those guys are more so showing up on campus now. It's the elite of the elite talents that you're missing out on. Now LSU gets in on more of those than most, but like Ole Miss isn't losing a lot of guys to the draft anymore. Georgia's not losing a lot of guys to the draft. Vanderbilt is, LSU is, Florida is, but it doesn't happen as often because of the NIL and because of what college baseball has become, where it's see the world. I mean, I'm not trying to get into. I mean, what else? Soccer is what we're looking at here.
Maybe F1. First of all, the answer should be soccer because soccer players, the best soccer players, make more money than any other.
Yeah,
sport.
I mean that's reasonable. I would. That's reasonable to pick.
It is pretty hard sport to play. I mean, it's very tasking on your stamina and all that stuff. And you got to train.
They
a lot.
all are. I mean, if you're playing 5-set tennis matches, that's not exactly a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Especially on like clay, but there's so few options here. Like, I'm not picking Australian rules football here. I'm not going with.
What about race car driving?
Not that death is not in the equation in some of these, but that's bringing death like right on into that equation. I'm not real wild about that. I'm not a real daredevil, so I'll pass on some of that.
Yeah.
Even though they've made those race cars as safe as they possibly can, that's not exactly where my head's gonna go.
I'd probably go soccer. I guess maybe I don't know. You would make the most money playing. I say that, but of course, if you're a really good tennis player, you can also still make a lot of money.
You can make a lot of money playing tennis.
All right, last one here. What if Hunt was made the czar of college football, and what would you do to fix NIL or the transfer portal?
Oh God, that's not. I need like a 2-minute answer here, and I need more than that. So maybe that's a segment for another day.
Yeah.
And I'll be. Let me just put it like this: I'm not smart enough to have a great answer because I'm not. There are so many people that are staunchly, you cannot pay these guys. It's an education, such and such, and there are so many people that stand on the complete other end that go, they deserve all of this money, all of it's fine, give it, and I'm in the middle of that. So it's very difficult for me to come up with a great solution being where I am. And I don't know what that says about me, but it is where I stand. So that's it for What If Wednesday. I do want to throw some flowers out here in the end of hour number 1. So we'll do that about a great New Orleans Saint when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Very cool announcement from the city of New Orleans, the city council down in New Orleans. Tomorrow, May the 8th, is Cam Jordan Day for his devotion to the city and serving the community. That is such a cool thing for Cam Jordan. You know, there are two parts to professional sports, and now college sports, really, but two parts to professional sports. There's the wins and losses on the field, the competition, and there's the business. And I'm painting with broad brush here, but it's rooted in truth. Like, for fans, we care 100% about the wins and losses and 0% about the business side. we don't really care how much money the player makes. Do you know who made more money between Jimmy Graham or Marcus Colston? Do you know what Spencer Rattler's contract looks like? We don't really care. Do you know what the Saints' season ticket revenue was, or what the situation? Do you know exactly what the salary cap number is? Like, some of you may, but most don't. We just care about the results. And the players who play the game have a very, very different outlook on that. And it runs the gamut. Some are 99% money, 1% team. Some are 50-50. Some care more about the team than getting the absolute top dollar. They're 80% to the team, 20% towards the financial side of things. Everybody's a little bit different. But as we watch sports, we want to feel like the players for our team care so much about the uniform, care so much about the city, making the organization and the franchise better. It makes us feel more connected. They feel like us. And oftentimes, guys just move around to wherever the best paycheck is. I mean, I kind of look at the NBA. The superstars in that league don't stick around more than 1 or 2 years in a certain place. I don't know where Chris Paul's playing at a given time. I don't know where Kevin Durant is at a given moment. Russell Westbrook's played for half the league. Like, it's just part of the deal. But as fans, we want a connection to the players, and we want them to feel like we feel. And all too often, that's just not the case. And I'm not blaming the players. I'm just explaining the disconnect. And now that's drifted into the college game as well, with transfers and with the portal. And the truth be told, like, it doesn't really matter to the fan once the game starts if that college player is playing for the $2,500 somebody slid his parents under the table to get new tires, or the $600,000 NIL deal that they may have struck to get him to transfer from one school to another. Once the game starts, like, just go play for LSU if you're an LSU fan, because there's a parallel there with professional sports too. And I say all of this to suggest that Cam Jordan's run in New Orleans has been as close to the fan ideal as I can think of. Cam Jordan has played 14 years for the New Orleans Saints. Cam Jordan has never gone to free agency and taken open bids. He can do that if he wants. He's never gone all the way to the top of the market. I'm confident in saying, I can't say I'm sure, I'm confident in saying that Cam Jordan has left some money on the table to stay with the New Orleans Saints. He's been durable. He's been on the field. He's been so ever present in the community, raising his family there in New Orleans. He's so involved in various charities, and he's visible in the city. He cares about the city of New Orleans and the Saints. It's not a prerequisite to play for the Saints for that to be your feeling. And there's nothing wrong with guys who chase the next contract. It's professional life. We do it every day in our professional lives that aren't wins and losses in a sporting league. But when guys do it this way, the way that Cam Jordan has done it, it makes us as fans feel better. It makes us feel more connected. And so for the city to show that connection back and to make that declaration for Cam and to show that appreciation for a guy that's poured 14 years of his professional life into the city, into the team, into the franchise, doing everything he can. It's just a really cool thing, and it doesn't happen very often. And so I think that for us not to mention it and to not talk about it would be a complete disservice. It would be negligent on our part not to do it. Because there are a lot of people that listen to this show that care so much about the Saints and care so much about LSU, and like, there was a time where you felt like watching LSU that you just had guys that wanted to put on for Old State U. They were from Louisiana, and they just wanted to beat a Tiger, and money, it was just the purest form of sport. And that's kind of been ripped away. And then in the New Orleans, in the professional ranks, like, it's always been dollars and cents. And you introduce free agency, and you got guys that play for the Saints and the Falcons. You got guys that have played for the Falcons that come play for the Saints. And this doesn't happen that often. So it's really, really cool to me, one, that Cam has done this and has been this loyal, faithful, and hardworking, and has poured himself into that franchise and into the city. And then it's cool on the other side, the city reciprocates that right back. I haven't been doing this that long, but I don't remember a city council proclaiming a day for a player. May have happened with Breeze. And I would suggest that Drew Brees poured himself into the community, even though he was drafted by another franchise and did leave them for another opportunity. But shout out Cam Jordan. Really, really cool that the city's doing that. And it's just been an awesome run to watch him do things the way that he's done them for as long as he has. That's it for hour number 1 here. We're back after Sports Center. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life. So why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Home run from Harper.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Warriors expect to be without star Steph Curry at least a week due to a grade 1 left hamstring strain, reports ESPN's Shams Charania. He's likely out through at least Game 4 of the second-round NBA playoff series against the Timberwolves. Golden State, though, doesn't need Curry to win the series, believes ESPN NBA analyst and former NBA guard Jay Williams.
I know the gravity that he warrants when he's on the court. But one of the things people keep looking over is the fact that this was the best defensive team in the NBA once they made the Jimmy Butler trade. The perimeter pressure that the Warriors apply throws the Wolves off their rhythm. And that's something that Anthony Edwards and company is going to have to answer for.
OKC down 1-0 hosts Denver Game 2 tonight, 9 Eastern ESPN Radio. Maple Leafs goaltender Anthony Stolarz, who took an elbow to the head in the second-round playoff series opening win versus the Panthers, won't play Game 2 tonight, 7 Eastern ESPN. Joseph Woll gets the start. NFL, the Cowboys' quest for a number 2 receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb has ended. They acquired George Pickens from the Steelers today for draft compensation.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, the Steelers traded away George Pickens. So what does this mean for their pursuit of Aaron Rodgers? And do we think he has to sign off on this deal? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2. Wednesday edition Hunt Palmer Show, officially half the work week in the rearview mirror. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Appreciate you hanging out with us here today. Usually we have Koki Rowley in the first hour on Wednesdays. Bump things back about 45 minutes. He joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Koki, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How's it going?
It's going quite well. I was disappointed when I sent you a tweet on Friday. I have not been in the A&M press box at Bluebell Park since 2013, so it's been a minute, but they did have a big freezer full of Bluebell ice cream in the press box 12 years ago. You're telling me that that no longer exists?
No, I did not see any of that. I don't think I never even heard it referenced. Yeah, no, I mean, their press box situation is kind of odd because there's like 3 tables outside, and it was a really nice weekend, so I decided to sit out there. And there's like a small-ish press box behind that. That's also open air. So, I mean, there are definitely worse press box situations, but I did not hear a thing about, Bluebell ice cream. I would have jumped on that if I got the chance, though.
Yeah, sad to see things change after 12 years of me not being there, but apparently that was the case. What hadn't changed is that LSU's still pretty good and Texas A&M's still pretty good. That was the case in 2013 as well. A&M got the better of LSU with a late swing on Sunday. I have not talked about Chase Shores a lot, so I wanted to start there with you. He came in relief, and really I thought threw the ball pretty well. What did you see from him, and what do you think of that role for him?
Yeah, I thought he threw the ball pretty well as well. And I think one of the keys for him is just not only to not miss his spot, but to not miss it badly, sort of like the throwaway pitches. The slider that's way in the dirt, or the fastball that goes behind the backstop, like those really big misses is what I feel like he's much better every time he can at least be around the zone, and when you throw 100 miles an hour, it sort of creates that margin for error for you. And I thought he did a much better job of not just committing the ball, but just not having too many bad misses. And because of that, you get a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, pair that with a decent slider, and then you might have something. And the fact that he's in relief allows him to get it, and I think that so far has sort of played up the stuff a little bit. Just shrinking the role, simplifying the role. So him and Kason Evans have essentially switched positions. Essentially, I mean, there's some nuance to that, but if we had to boil it down, that's what it would look like. So. It's interesting, and I think I think both roles I could end up helping this team more moving forward.
So, in saying that, do you think Kaysen Evans' time as a bullpen stopper is over for right now? I mean, do you think if LSU wins the first game on Friday and Zach Callen throws 41 pitches, that if they have a lead in the 8th inning on Saturday, that Evans won't come out?
I wouldn't totally rule it out, but at this point, I would lean towards that being the case. Like, if you put a gun to my head and said, pick one of these two things, Koki, I would pick the Kaysen Evans. They save him for Sunday sort of role, because as long as Chase Shores keeps on walking out there on Fridays and Saturdays, that means he's not going to start on Sundays. And I guess they could start Connor Ware instead. But they've had a chance to do that the last couple of weeks against these left-handed heavy lineups, especially Tennessee, which is a very left-handed heavy lineup, and they didn't do it. So I think it just kind of shows you the trust they have in Kaysen Evans. And, he wasn't bad on Sunday. He was just wildly inefficient, and part of that had to do with A&M doing a really good job of following off pitches, and some of that had to do with him just not getting the level of swing and miss that he was getting in relief earlier in the season. So, in my opinion, at least, I think Kaysen Evans is probably the Sunday guy, even if that's something that they're not going to want to announce moving forward.
Yeah, he's not big into committing too early to any starting pitchers when he doesn't have to do that. As far as Zach Callen goes, obviously you look at the line scores, you look at the way the games went, not his best weekend. In fact, his worst weekend in SEC play. Any cause for concern there?
Not totally. I think it was interesting that, like, out of all the relievers, he struggled the most, and he is also a much different reliever than any other guy that they have, and usually that's been a strength for them, the fact that he can throw strikes, the fact that he is just such a good changeup, but the lack of, like, big stuff and the lack of a big breaking ball, which is what the other guys have, that's what kind of played in their favors. Like, Maverick Rizzi was really good. Chase Shores had one of his better weekends. Like, kind of go down the line of a lot of these guys who have much different stuff than what Zach has. Or it's even a guy like DJ Primo, who's not only left-handed but also hides the ball pretty well. So, I mean, those bigger stuff guys definitely succeeded more this week against A&M, and Zach definitely struggled more against A&M. And to me, that feels like more of a matchup thing than anything else. The fact that A&M wasn't really fazed by his changeup, the fact that A&M wasn't afraid to swing to be aggressive early in counts and really sort of jump on the first thing that they saw. I mean, some of it might just be the scouting report and, SC teams just getting more comfortable with facing Zach. But, I mean, if he struggles again this weekend, that might be more of a concern. But, like, honestly, something like this was bound to happen at some point. Like, he wasn't going to throw. There's no reliever in the history of baseball, throws a perfect inning every single time out, right? There's going to be at least some bumps in the road, even if they're pretty rare. Like, the Griffin Herring game against Alabama is, like, example A, right? Where they're literally an out away from winning that game and winning the series, and then he walks 3 straight guys. Alabama does a really good job of not chasing out a slider, and then all of a sudden there's a swing bunt down the line, a bad throw, and LSU loses the game, right? So I'm willing to believe it's more of that than anything more concerning moving forward. But he's definitely been a little bit more human in the second half. The Alabama game sort of comes this year. The Alabama game sort of comes to mind with Zach. So I'm not too concerned by it, but let's see what happens this weekend before we pass any real judgment.
Do you feel differently about Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson than you did a month ago?
Definitely with Anthony Ianson, right? I mean, I was on your show, what was it, a month and a half ago? We were talking about how I was talking about how, well, we just need to get him to 5 innings and he can only give up, 2 or 3 runs instead of going 4 and giving up 4 or 5 runs, right? And he definitely blew that expectation out of the water this week. So I obviously give major credit to him and just his ability to really mix pitches as the game went on. And it just seemed like he was a pretty good matchup for that A&M lineup, and they were really swinging through a lot of his stuff. I mean, it seemed like the splitter was really on point for that game. So, I mean, he is sort of ascending in a similar way that Gage Jump ascended last year, where Jump had some had some struggles since the beginning of SEC play for sure. But I'm honestly a little even more surprised about the Ianson ascension, because I don't think Ianson has as good a stuff as what Gage Jump had. And yet Ianson's still doing this because he commands the ball really well. And then he has the off speed stuff. When he gets you to 2 strikes, he has the off speed stuff to put you away, and that's something that he's done a really good job of consistently lately, and that's a very good sign for LSU. And as for Kate Anderson, honestly, the guy's just this good, and he's going to be a top 10 pick in this draft. If I had to guess. And he is what he is at this point. And what we saw at the beginning of the year is what we're seeing right now.
No doubt. So you spend a lot of time around Jay Johnson. You got to talk to him after Sunday's disappointment, and then the series as a whole. Like, kind of, how do you think he views where his team is right now?
He doesn't seem panicked. He doesn't seem overly frustrated, which is a difference from last season, where there were times where he was definitely very, very frustrated about the results. And the team as a whole, there was this big, dark, stormy cloud around them. This year, I just haven't really felt that. I felt there have been a couple of games this year where the feeling afterwards was, dang, we let that one get through our fingertips. We let that one get past us. You know what I mean? And I think the Auburn game, of that Sunday Auburn game, you definitely got that feeling where it felt like they let that one slip away from them. And in this game as well. But I do think, like, overall, I don't think he's too panicked. And with the offense, and if anything, he feels very, very good about his bullpen right now. So that's probably the best way to describe the state of the way Jay Johnson feels about his team at the moment.
Should he be more concerned about his offense?
Potentially, yeah. And I mean, as the deeper we've gotten in the SEC play, and the tougher the schedule has gotten, the more they struggled. And I have a story coming out in the Advocate will be Friday, about how they've just frankly struggled against left-handed pitching in SEC play, like week after week almost. There's really only been 2 weeks where they've done pretty good against left-handed pitching, but then after that, it's been a lot of they've been on the struggle bus when it comes to facing lefties, and there isn't really a great reason for it, because in theory they have the lineup versatility to face left-handers, and they have guys like Ethan Fry and John Pearson that they can put into the game. Sort of match up in those spots, and I'm not even saying that those guys have not lived up to their billing against those spots. If anything, Ethan Fry had one of his better weekends of the season last weekend. But when you look at the rest of the team, and even guys like Daniel Dickinson, and not even Daniel Dickinson, honestly, guys like Jared Jones and Stephen Milam, and guys who you'd expect to hit against left-handed pitching, because A, they can either hit on the right side of the plate, or B, they're some of your better hitters. Those guys just haven't been producing against those left-handed pitchers. So, I think that's like definitely a point. That's like one example of the way that they've been struggling. I know you had a story that came up today about some of this stuff too, with the home and road splits. So, I think either way you slice at it, they're just struggling offensively, and they need guys like Stephen Milam, especially, or Jared Jones, or Daniel Dickinson and Derek Curiel. They're supposed better hitters to just start hitting better.
Something's got to give on Friday, because they're playing at home against a really good left-handed pitcher in Zach Root, and we'll see kind of how that goes. You have a thought early on for LSU and Arkansas over the weekend? The Hogs are obviously coming in playing good baseball, considering what they did to Texas last week.
Yeah, I know Arkansas lost 3 series in a row before this recent sweep to Texas, but I do think this is the best team LSU's played all year, and they're the best team in the country right now. Just top to bottom, they probably had the best offense in the conference from a statistical standpoint. And then on the mound, they're getting Parker Coyle back. That's another lefty. The bullpen, and I guess that's like one matchup thing that LSU might have. LSU might have the better bullpen heading into LSU probably has the better rotation heading into this series, but I think Arkansas has been the better team out of the bullpen. Arkansas has been the deeper team, especially when it comes to the lineup. They've got the star power. Their in-conference hitting numbers are really, really good. The Eloy brothers, like the whole thing, it's very, very, they've got a lot of power, so they're going to be able to take advantage of the park here. So honestly, this is definitely going to be a big task for them, and we'll see. And I think the fact that LSU's at home really helps them here. But it's a big weekend for sure.
It's a huge weekend. We'll see you at the box on Friday. Thanks, Koki.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
He's Koki Riley with The Advocate, doing a great job covering the LSU baseball beat. He's with us every single Wednesday. All right, we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools every single Wednesday. We'll come back and we'll talk a little football. A little bit of an evergreen off-season topic here from the folks at On 3, but I think it's significantly different than it was 5-10 years ago, so we'll talk about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com. Every car that is on the lot is online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Sounds pretty good. And it's about as good as you're going to find in the industry, quite frankly. 3 years of complimentary maintenance. Car maintenance is a hassle. You got to go. You got to deal with sitting in the service aisle. You kill a whole morning watching Price is Right, waiting for them to get to the vehicle. It's just a drag on the whole day. A massive inconvenience. Well, it's not with Genesis because they do valet maintenance. They'll come get your car. They'll bring it to the dealership. They'll leave you a loaner. You get on with your day. When they're done with the maintenance, which is complimentary for 3 years, I might add, they'll bring it right back to you. That's just part of being a Genesis driver. It's an experience. You probably haven't experienced it because they're new to the game. Just over 2 years, their airline at PQ. Go see them if you're in the market for a new vehicle. You're probably going to be on Airline Highway anyway. A lot of dealerships up there. Make one more stop just across from Women's Hospital at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Stop in, say, I heard about y'all on show. What can you show me? Their brand ambassadors will be more than happy to help. Their showroom is phenomenal, and the product on the lot is just as good. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. You can start your car buying process online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. It's genesisofbatonrouge.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Just got luckier.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized SAP. Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
We know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
My SEC baseball power rankings coming your way in a little. I've got some significant changes to said power rankings coming up here in the next segment. But I want to talk some football here. Topic. It's always going to be relevant. You can always have. But I just saw it on the timeline today, and it dawned on me, like, this is a very different list than what it would have been 10 years ago, certainly. It's the top 10 jobs in college football. Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman came up with this list. They were similar. I believe they only have 2 differences total. The other 8 are included in both. So they agree that 8 programs are in the top 10, and then there are 4 others that they've sprinkled in at the back end of the list. But I think this list looks very different 10 years ago, 15 years ago, in one big way. And I'll get into the list. They agree with the top 3 jobs in college football. Staples says it's Georgia, Ohio State, Texas. Wasserman says Texas, Georgia, Ohio State. And they agree on the 4th, exactly, it's Oregon. So they think that the top 4 jobs in college football, in some order, are Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, and Oregon. And I think it's hard for me to disagree with that significantly, because Georgia have a talent-rich state essentially to themselves. Georgia Tech is in Georgia, but they don't really compete with Georgia for any recruits. Yeah, Ohio State, Ohio, but they're the only P5 in a very talent-rich Louisiana. You're all well aware of that. There are other great talent-rich states. There are a lot of really good football players that are in California, a lot of colleges. Great football in the state of Florida, a lot of colleges. A lot of great football in Pennsylvania as well. I think Penn State probably runs that, but Pitt's there at least. You talk about Georgia, they got it to themselves. Ohio State, they got it to themselves. LSU has Louisiana got it to themselves. But LSU is kind of on the outside looking in of that list. The job that would not have been on this list 15 years ago is Oregon. Oregon is number 4 by both of them. And I don't believe it would have been in the top 10 15 years ago, even though Chip Kelly was cooking 15 years ago. He played for a national championship in 2010. But at that point, they just had the uniforms and the facility, but it was still in Eugene, Oregon, which is not a talent-rich state, and it's hard to get to. But now you've got Nike that can just pay whatever they want. And Nike is one of the few brands that can absolutely point to college football players and say, they do help my brand. Like, it's a little bit tough for some local businesses to sell, and for an oil refinery tycoon to sell the worth to their business that a left tackle brings. But when you can put athletic gear on and do Instagram posts with athletic gear, like, it's all part of the Nike brand. And we know that Phil Knight has essentially limitless money. Now, Phil Knight's not going to be there forever, but he's there right now. And so, yeah, that Nike money, now they're in the Big Ten as well. That exposure, like, I'm not 100% sure Oregon's a better job than LSU or Alabama, but you can certainly make the case, and Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman both did. What's interesting is that, and I'll get to LSU in a second, Alabama is number 7 on both of their lists. And I think Alabama would have been top 3 5 years ago. But Saban leaves. That pixie dust is worn off a little bit. And now it's pay for play. And Bama, while they do have funds, doesn't have the funds Ohio State has. Doesn't have the funds Texas has. So all of a sudden, that job is less. And my point for a while over the Alabama thing was it was not that Alabama was that much better a job than some of the others around the country. They just had the best coach, which inherently made the job. Like, Saban could have taken the job at Texas A&M. He'd have won 6 titles at Texas A&M. He could have taken the job at Penn State. He'd have won 5 or 6 titles at Penn State. He could have taken the job at USC. He would have done just what Pete Carroll did. Like, he was going to do it wherever. It just so happened that Alabama's job came open when he was ready to get out to Miami. And now that he's gone, like, you've seen them dip precipitously down to 7. When you were 1 or 2 by just about everybody, now you're 7. Like, that says something, I think. But little old LSU, little old Louisiana, poor state, can't keep up. Well, Andy Staples says it's the 5th best job in college football, and Ari Wasserman says it's the 6th best job in college football. Ari puts Texas A&M ahead of LSU, but Staples says it's right behind Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, then LSU. The proof will be in the pudding over time. I don't know exactly what the rules are going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years. I don't know what the conferences will look like. I don't know what the national championship structure will look like. But I feel like with the power of the SEC that's never going away for LSU, the value of the geography in this state and the passion, the program history, tradition, that's going to keep LSU relevant no matter how the rules twist and turn to me. Are you still going to have a hard time getting Bryce Underwood here? Yeah. Like, you're going to have a hard time getting the number 1 player in the nation from urban Michigan to come to LSU. Are you still going to do a good job in the state of Louisiana? Are you still going to be able to recruit the state of Texas? Are you still going to be able to recruit Florida? Are you still going to be able to recruit Georgia? I think so. That's my belief. And if you can do that, you're still going to have 100,000 strong for a big game in Tiger Stadium. Game day's still going to come here. You're still going to cash massive checks from the SEC network, from Disney and ESPN. And I think they're going to be competitive. You're always going to have the right coach here. And Brian Kelly's not going to be here forever, and you'll get the next one. And if you make a terrible hire, you hire Derek Dooley, you're not going to do very well. But if you hire the right guy, they'll do just fine. And that's kind of the contention that Staples and Wasserman put forward here. They've got LSU, both of them, ranked as better job than Alabama, better job than Michigan, better job than Clemson, better job than Notre Dame, better job than Penn State, better job, obviously, than Auburn. And then the last piece of this puzzle, as we get beyond LSU a little bit, is Texas A&M, which is the one that nobody can get their hands around. And it's so fascinating. Because Andy Staples doesn't have Texas A&M in his top 10. And Ari Wasserman has Texas A&M 5th. And y'all know how I feel about this. I don't feel the same way Jacob Hester does. I don't feel the same way Taylor Sharp does on the morning show. Like, they just think, well, A&M's never won. Why would we ever expect them to win? And that looks like it's kind of the camp that Staples is in here. Like, they haven't won. They've been in NIL for a while. They've been in the SEC for a while. They've recruited well for a while. They've had different coaches. They've had a Heisman winner. Like, they don't win anything. And then you got me that goes, yeah, but they could. Arizona State had no chance to win that college football playoff last year. None. Neither did SMU. Oklahoma State's not going to become a power. Neither is Michigan State. You're not going to all of a sudden see a resurgence from Cal football. There are only so many programs in college football that can make it work. And A&M is one of them, despite the fact that they haven't. And that's why I always want to keep them at arm's length and make sure that they're screwing things up over there. Because you could have a problem on your hands at LSU if Texas A&M ever figured it out. And I'm not telling you they will anytime soon. But the potential is there. And that's what Ari Wasserman's saying by putting him at 5. I don't have a good reason why they've never won. I have a thought, I have a hypothesis, and I can't prove it at all. It's that it's just a little bit of a weird spot. They do things differently, and not a lot of people want to spend time there. I respect their passion. I think it's awesome. I think they have a great home field advantage. I think that they have incredible loyalty to the university, and all those things I think are really cool. I think there are some things they do that are not. I don't think midnight yell practice is very cool. I don't think the yell leaders are very cool. I don't think blowing bubbles at your baseball stadium is very cool. But everybody's got some things that aren't the greatest things. I kind of wish our student section wouldn't chant vulgarities at the drop of every hat, but it happens. I don't love Chants of Rain Never in Tiger Stadium. That may be blasphemous for some people. It's not a big deal. I'm not trying to make it a big deal. I'm just saying that there are some things that I think are a little off everywhere. A&M's just got more of those. More things that are a little off from us on the buy-in, because not a lot of people really want to be there. Jim Schlossnagle caught the first bus out of town. I don't know. But we're talking football here. They seem to have the ingredients. They just haven't put them together, and I hope they never do. But it's an interesting discussion, and it's one that maybe is better suited for July. Takeaways were, I agree with the talent-rich states with the most money. I think that's the best gig. Florida, not in the top 10 of either. And that would have never been said 15 years ago. Never. But Oregon's got elite facilities, massive NIL, not a fertile recruiting base. They're fourth on this list. Money matters a lot. Commitment matters a lot. And I don't know if Florida's got that committed. Oregon obviously does. So, second piece, LSU, top 6 by both. I think the Tigers will be okay. Our Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. When we come back, let's do some SEC baseball power rankings next. Is that website, Jonathan Carbo and his crew over at the Howard Insurance Group. Awesome folks to work with. They pride themselves on their technical expertise. If you're looking for a new insurance broker and your criteria is, I need someone that can cut 20% off this massive premium, this is probably not the phone call for you. In this market, that's just not realistic. You could do it by cutting out a bunch of your coverages, but that's not the point. If you're just looking for someone to make sure that your insurance that you pay good money for is correct, that's what the Howard Insurance Group does. Storm season's around the corner. Do you know that your building valuations are correct? Do you know what your co-insurance penalties are? Do you know what your wind and hail or name store deductible are? Do you know how your policy is going to respond in the event of a storm? If you don't, and you only just pointed to the lowest premium come renewal time, and that's all you got, you might want to look at it a different way. And Jonathan Carver and his team are happy to do that for you at the Highland Insurance Group. They're based here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide. Any of your commercial needs, they can help you with them. If you don't know what cyber insurance does or what EPO insurance means, if you're a business owner, look into it. Check with the Highland Insurance Group. It's highlandig.com, online highlandig.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, They've been called upon to cradle and cool. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance, with the latest in office technology. From Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and professional athlete or a weekend warrior. Our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in. We've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
All right. So we took a week off 2 weeks ago, and then we came back and did power rankings for the first. Some small changes. There were some bigger changes this week. I've got a 2 3-spot movers and a 5-spot mover this week. Some of it just was bound. Some feelings that I had in the buoys right now. I think they're where they need to be. I'll probably change them again next week, but really maybe all year. So let's get into this week's SEC baseball
Power Rankings. The Arkansas.
Yes, they had lost 3 in a row entering last week. Best is the best in the conference and the country. Got beat by A&M, got beat by Florida. Like they did not play to that standard, but their pitch. I think they're the best team in the conference. Last week I had Texas in this spot. Isn't the case? Arkansas is where they need to be. I think the Hogs are the best team in the league. Give me the Hogs.
The Texas Longhorns.
In the league, but I just feel like an idiot if they're 19-5 or something. Like they lost their ace. Ruger-Riojas got lit up last. With the wins and losses, even though the schedule has been very favorable. Maybe I'm an idiot, and maybe Texas has another bad weekend against Florida this weekend at home, and I bump them back some more, but I've got them at 2 for right now.
The LSU Tigers.
I back the Tigers up. LSU. I think that there are pieces there offensively, and that 1-2 punch at the top. Everybody's got some flaws. Everybody's had some bad weekends. LSU did lose over the weekend. I backed them up 1 spot, but I still believe in the Tigers right now.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
This may be really foolish. They've lost 4 out of 5 series. They've lost 3. Stupid. But I watched them in person. I know what that talent is. I know what Doyle and Phillips are at the front. Like, not about the standings. This is about what I think of the team in terms of standings. I'm just looking at my eye test, and I've got Tennessee at 4, backing up 1 spot. Maybe that's dumb. That's where I've got them. Auburn up 4 spots this week. They went from number 9 to number 5. And statistically, like, Auburn is not great to look at on paper. Their OPS is But they swept LSU. They beat Tennessee 2 out of 3 in Knoxville. They beat Vanderbilt 2 out of 3. Like, their wins speak to me more than the statistics. He was here and didn't have a great run of it, but I can't just abandon Auburn here. I've moved them up.
Georgia Bulldogs.
I moved Georgia back one spot to 6. They're 12th in the league in ERA, which is not great. The only team that has struck out walk more hitters than everyone except Missouri and South Carolina, the worst team in the league. Now they're 15-9 in league play, so I just don't think that they're as good as they hit a lot. I get that, but I've got them back at number. Look at the Aggies. They've got series wins over Arkansas, Tennessee, and LSU. That is quite loud. No matter how their start was, I don't know how they got swept by Alabama and Kentucky. They got swept. Hard to argue against that. So I've got them at number 7. They might be better than that.
The Vanderbilt Commodore.
Them up 2 spots from number 10. They're not hitting a ton, but they're winning a lot, and their RPI for the postseason, if they can finish this thing out strong, got Vandy at number 8.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Moved Oklahoma up 3 spots. They did beat Vanderbilt. They beat Ole Miss over the weekend. They've got an Elite Ace, so that gives you a leg up in a lot of weekends. Tyson Witherspoon was brilliant. The Rebels over the weekend. That's a big deal to have a guy that good at the front end. So Oklahoma creeps up to number 9. Listen to this. They were 1-11 in league play. They were 1-11. To get into the postseason, they've got a. Get one game in Austin. They're going to be a regional team. That's amazing that Kevin O'Sullivan was able to figure this out with the litany of injuries that Florida has. Liam Peterson at the top of the rotation. Very, very good. So Florida's up to number 10. 5 spots. That may be reactive based on a poor offensive weekend against Oklahoma. They lost 2 out of 3 in that one. I don't love their rotation after Hunter Elliott, who's not throwing enough fastballs with strikes with his fastball. They're 9th in batting average. They are 4th in home runs, but they strike out a ton. So there are flaws with this Ole Miss team. Got work to do to get there. I dropped them back to 11th in the league.
The Alabama Crimson.
Good. They've got Georgia this week, which is a big deal. But they've lost 4 of 5 series, and the one win in those 5 has been Missouri. So they're leading pretty well. LeBron's stats haven't been what we thought they might be. Point swap backed them up 4 spots to number 12.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Don't look now. They fired their head coach, and Mississippi State's getting hot. They've got a huge weekend coming up against Ole Miss in Starkville, and then they go to Missouri, where they can win 3 games. Coach, that is certainly not out of the question. I've got them at 13.
The Kentucky
at Mississippi State, they're now 10-14 in league play. They've got Oklahoma in home runs. That's last. They're 13th in batting average. That's almost last. And they're 9th in ERA. They just don't have a calling card. They're just not. NCAA tournament.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina lost a doubleheader to Florida 30-3. 30-3. 30-3. Their last week of the season.
The
0-24. It's not good. Not a good team. So it's Wednesday. Start with the top 3. Arkansas, Texas. 6, Tennessee, Auburn, and Georgia. I think those teams are all really good. A&M's playing great. I've got them at 7th. Vanderbilt number 9. Got Florida and Ole Miss at 10 and 11. Alabama's 12th. Mississippi State up to 13th after a sweep of Kentucky. Been in the league in a long time. Missouri's going to set a futility record. South Carolina. Way that it is at this point. But that's your SEC Power ranking. Shout out to Joey Blank. Of your dreams. And you want that process to be painless and seamless from a local company right here in the Baton Rouge area. Contact Joey and the folks at Renaissance Homes and Pools. Joey, and he can do it for you. He's got this incredible software. You'll sit down with Joey. He's so hands-on. Going to look like to scale with this incredible software. And the flexibility that it offers you, you can see what some furniture may look like. They can position it exactly how. You may have an exact idea of what you want that pool to look like. You may have no clue what goes into building a pool. Joey Blanchard and the team at Renaissance. It doesn't take all that long, and the best part is he'll be there for every step of the way. He's the owner of the company. Design. He's there for all the digging in the building. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. Go check them out. Fill out that contact sheet at builtbyrenaissance.com. Get in. We can swim until October around here in South Louisiana. It's builtbyrenaissance.com is the website. Renaissance Homes and Pools. They bring you our Wednesday shows each and every week. Take a time out. Come back and close it. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead... refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
ED, Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac.
Years.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
True to our values, committed to providing you with
priority.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, legal and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 756-2644. That's Office Products.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Congratulations to Landry Whitney and her mom Dawn down the river in Paulina for winning the 2025 Mommelganger contest. They win $1,500 from Selassie Jewelry and fine gifts. Thanks to everyone who entered, and happy Mother's Day.
And forgot to nominate my wife and her.
Be eligible to win, Hunt, considering
But they wouldn't know because she would be the entrant.
Okay.
And maybe I could
Well,
sneak
you just
around
said
the-
it. Get
They're
away
not
with it
listening
now.
to me.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody listens to the show.
Unlock each other's phones.
Wait. Oh, you mean
the
the
facial
face?
recognition.
Well, yeah. I can do.
So yeah, I need to think about that next year and win that gift card.
Yes.
I'm coming for you, listeners. All right, let's play.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Alrighty, first one here. After much deliberation, many rumors swirling, Salt Lake City's the Utah Mammoth. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it.
Leave it alone.
And it's just because there's no S on the end of it. Why do we start doing that? It seems like so like it's harder to write. Like, what do you call someone who plays for the Red Sox? He's a Red Sox. He's a Red Sox. He's a when I got Tigers. I'm like he's a Tiger. He's a Mammoth.
Yeah, it's like the John Lackey, the former Red Sox. Did you say sock? Like
I don't know,
S-O-C-K?
and I just feel like we're forcing that. It's a team of mammoths. Couldn't we have mammoths?
I think the reason I don't know for sure mammoths, because otherwise it would be kind of, I don't know.
As was what it was, and obviously you've got a lot of that in the WNBA now as well, and the NHL has a good bit. I don't love it. I like the S. I don't. It's not like a. I'm not on the end.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, and also a lot of people are, a lot more. The Yeti, which would have been pretty cool, but apparently there were some issues there potentially.
Isn't that singular? Like I don't like that.
It is also singular, but of course the Yeti was
Yetis because there's one.
Right.
I don't like that either.
All right, last one. The Rams are going mini camp on the island. Take it or leave it.
Mini camp and how much they can enjoy some of that time, or like how big a deal it is for them to financial backing that NFL teams has, where you can just up and take the whole squad out to Maui.
Rookies probably really upset that they don't play for the Rams because New Orleans, are they going to go down to go down on airline to Metairie, or what? What's going on there? Like.
That's a great selling point there.
Yeah.
I'm taking that all day. The mini camp on Maui sounds fun.
Yeah.
Currently, but I would like to because there's one of my favorite golf courses, one of my bucket list golf. I think there's a good chance that I will go to Maui at some point. It's just not going to happen real soon. There are some other things that are going to have to take precedence, like diapers at the current juncture. But one day there will be no diapers in the Palmer house. One day. We're just not at that day at all. Homes and Pools. Call my guy Joey Blanchard to get in that pool. If you missed any of our show today, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Fired up for tomorrow. Going to drive you home. Coming up next, we'll see you tomorrow on the Palmer Show.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like Vans custom.